Okay, so right now we're going to learn how to color the periodic table by blocks. Now, so far with electron configuration, we've done S's, P's, D's, and F's. Well, when we use the periodic table, we find that there are blocks. There's an S block, there's a P block, a D block, and an F block. What that means is that's where those electrons fall, either in the S orbital, P orbital, D orbital, or F orbital. So, okay, so let me first make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so at this point in time, we need to write some things on this periodic table. Okay, so actually at this point in time, what I want you to do is I want you to X this out. Because helium, for electron configuration purposes, doesn't belong over there. It actually belongs here. So I need you to write down helium right there, okay? Because its electron configuration ends in an S, not a P, and that's actually the P block. Okay, so before we do anything else, we're going to do S block, P block, D block, and then F block. So each of these blocks is going to be a different color. But before I even do that, let me move this down a little bit. We need to write numbers. Now, you should have this written on your periodic table. If you don't, and then I'm also going to put a little 6 and 7 up here, because you'll need those numbers for, well, for any of this, so that way you know the rows. Because the lanthanides actually go in this little place with the little star that says 57 and 60. The lanthanides go in there, and the actinides go in there where it says 89 to 102. Okay, so now let's do this. Okay, now after you've done that, we need to label certain things before we even start coloring. Well, actually, no, let's start coloring first. Might be easier just to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm going to put my S block. Oops, hang on. Here is the S block. Okay. And that means that electron configurations end in an S orbital. Okay, so now I'm going to write above it S1 and S. Oops, hang on. Let me move this down a little bit. S2. Okay, and if you look, hydrogen's electron configuration is 1s1. Helium's is 1s2. So it's in the first row. So that means, let's look down here. Strontium will end at 5s2. So this is actually extremely helpful when not only are we doing the full electron configuration, but when we're doing noble gas shorthand. You know, we have to know where it ends, and that tells us where we have to go up to. Okay, so now let's do another block. Let's do the P block. We're going to do the P block green. So P's are all the way over here. They go straight down here. So I want you to color everything that's in all of here. I'll outline it first, and then we'll finish coloring it. All of this is the P block, and then we'll label it in a second as soon as we finish coloring it. Okay, so, and you guys, you can stop this and finish coloring it and then come back to it. I'm using a little highlighter option on my software, so it makes it much faster to color than you can probably color it. Okay, once we're done with that, once you're done with that, you need to go ahead and we are going to put numbers above it again. So we have P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, and P6. Okay, now after that, we're going to do the D block. And your D block is all of these in here. Okay. So we're going to go all of this. We're going to color all of this. So I want you guys to color this real quick. Okay. As I said, I know mine is a little fast, but I've got to, this does a pretty wide thing here. So we can go ahead and just color it all real quickly. Okay. Now we're going to put numbers above these also. So go back to your pencil and we do D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D9, and D10. Now, one of the things that, if you remember doing the electron configuration, after 4s comes 3d. So what I want you to put on here is 3d, 4d, 5d, and 6d. So when we're doing the electron configuration, because if you look at vanadium, I think we did that one already. That one, once it gets past 4s2, it does 3d3. Okay, so that's why we're doing this, so that you can see that it goes back 1. Now the F's, they go back 2. So the F's are down here. This is our F block down here. So we are going to color them red. Well, my little red thingy here, my little red highlighter, or pink. I don't know what color this is really. Okay. So just quickly color this. And guys, if you want to use a highlighter, I don't care what you use on your periodic table. Just remember, though, you're going to be using this on the test. Okay, you can write whatever you want on the back side of the test, but you're going to want to use this because this will help you with the electron configuration. Those questions, when you have electron configuration questions, this will come in pretty much handy. Okay, so I'm going to put F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, F8, F9, F10. Now remember, we got up to F14, F11, F12, F13, and F14. Now, if you recall, when we do the electron configuration, like let's look at 6s. After 6s comes 4f. And then 5f. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put it in blue. We're going to do this 4f and 5f, so you don't forget. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, it's a good way of doing electron configuration. So if you do, here, let me move this up a little bit. Let's say we do something like, oh, I don't know, iodine, okay? Now, iodine is 53. Now we're going to do the noble gas shorthand because I really don't feel like writing out the whole electron configuration at the moment. We'll do that next. Okay, so if you do iodine, iodine ends at, well, let's see, where does it end at? Iodine ends at P5, and it is in row, here, let me put this down here. Oops, this is 1, 2, crap. Okay, guys, sorry, but I messed up on my numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it actually ends right here is at 5p5 is your ending. Okay, when you're doing the electron configuration. So we know 5p5 is the ending. Now, if we go through this, we can actually go through this whole entire periodic table and figure out the electron configuration. But as I said, we're going to do the noble gas shorthand. So the noble gas in row 4 is krypton. So that's at the end. So we're going to put a Kr here. And I'm not going to worry about counting my electrons until I finish. Now that I know where the iodine ends at, I'm just going to go through and use my periodic table. So in my fifth row, okay, let me move this over again. In the fifth row, ooh, whoa, why is the iodine way over there? Who knows? Okay, in the fifth row, it starts out with 5. And remember, it's always the S. So here's 5. Rubidium and strontium are 5s1 and 5s2. So I'm going to go ahead and write down 5s2. Now, the next thing I come in contact with, look, it says it's 4D. So I'm going to do 4D, and I'm going to go all the way through the Ds. So when I get to cadmium, I've got 4D10. And then I'm going to write down 5P5 because I know that's where it ends. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and count my electrons just to be safe. So krypton's 36, plus 2 is 38, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. I've got them all. Okay, so that's how you kind of use the periodic table to go through it. In class, I'm actually going to show you how to use your finger, and you can do the full electron configuration just by figuring out, what you're going through. But this way, at least it might give you a better idea of how to do the electron configuration. Hopefully this helps. Well, that's all for today. Bye.